Okay, let's start. The title of this talk is Trust but Verify. It's going to be a little different, a lot less technical. And if somebody wants to discuss technical details about it, talk to me later or on the questions, because it's really non-technical at all. Okay, my name is Rhys. I'm a JavaScript developer for YLD. And well, WebAssembly is coming, so probably I won't be a JavaScript developer for much longer. And there's a few things you need to know before I start this talk. Ragnarok is not a movie about spaceships. It's the great battle in the Norse mythology, which every god will fight each other, and they are going to kill each other. And if you want to compare with the Christian belief, for example, is similar to the Judgment Day, the end of the world. This will become important a little bit later. So, Odin. Is anybody familiar with Odin? Great. He's the highest of all gods in the Norse mythology. He created the humans. He created the earth. But above all he cares about is to get knowledge. And this is going to be quite important. Now, Thor. Yes, he's blonde. No, his beard is not blonde. He's not blonde. He's very physical. He's very beautiful. But let's face it, he's kind of dense. To be nice. And finally, we have Loki. Loki was found by Odin when he was a baby, and he grew up, and Odin treated him as his own child. Now, a few things you need to know. He's very beautiful, he's very deceiving, and he can walk on air. And for the Star Wars fans, that's why he's called the Skywalker. And I'm not joking, that's come from here. So, let's start with a small story. Odin heard about the runes of knowledge, and he heard that they are in the land of the giants. So he sends Thor to go to the land of the giants and get those runes for him. And this is our situation right now. Thor walking to the land of giants. But here's the thing. Odin's ravens told him that maybe the runes are not in the land of the giants, or maybe in the land of the dwarves. So Odin needs to send a message to Thor. And for that, he's going to ask Loki. Since he can walk on air, he can get there a lot faster than Thor. Now here's the thing. Loki is a prankster. So he gets bored on his journey, he opens the parchment, he reads the message, and he does the obvious. Throws the message out and writes a new one. So we have a new situation. Thor is fighting the MIDGARD snake. Remember Ragnarok? The MIDGARD snake is the enemy of Thor. Thor is going to kill it, but he's going to die from his venom. So every time Thor has an opportunity to kill a snake, he just takes it. He doesn't care about it. Now, Odin comes to the realization that Loki kind of screwed up. So he has an idea. He needs to send a message, but the message must be written in a way that it can't be changed later. So Odin does something pretty cool. He boots up his old computer. Hey, they have computers, come on. And he creates a GPG key. He picks up the defaults, and above all, he writes his name, and he writes his email, and he's also going to write a password. This is actually the process of creating a key. 30 seconds is all it takes, really. And there we go. Now, something quick. GPG stands for Pretty Good Privacy, but PGP was trademarked. It's also an implementation by GNU, but let's not get into details. And it's composed in this simplest form by two keys. A private key, which you secure for yourself, you keep it safe, you don't distribute it, and a public key. Now, the public key is pretty much the opposite. you distribute and spread it as much as possible. And in order to distribute it, there are specific servers that you can use, like key servers. If you're a JavaScript developer, you can compare to NPM registry. Not the same thing, but similar. Everybody can publish public keys to a key server. And when I mean everyone, I can literally mean I can pick up one key that I found on the street and publish it. It's fine. Now, what can you do with these keys? You can sign documents. Whenever you sign a document, there's something like saying, "Hi, Luis, wrote this document, and I certified it was me, my person, who did it." So that's what Odin does. You can see here a signed message. At the bottom, a whole garble of text, don't worry about it. At the top, you can see actually stop fighting that damn snake and go to Svartalheimer. Doesn't really matter. What you need to know is if you change the message at the top, the bottom won't match. If you change the part of the bottom, the top won't match. If you remove the bottom, well, then it's not signed. Here's something, it's just like this. So Odin writes his message and sends to Loki. So Loki can actually deliver a message to Thor, so he can actually go to the land of the giants. But Loki also knows GPG, and Loki also has a new idea. What he does is create his own key on his old computer. This one is going to be faster, don't worry. But there's a small detail that you need to note. As the name is writing Odin, as the email is also using the Odin's email. And he just says, okay, writes a password, because Loki knows security. And it's pretty much done. What happened now? Loki has a key in name of Odin. So he writes a new message and he signs with his own key, which is going to match Odin's name. And Thor is fighting the snake again. And he never complains about it, really. As you can imagine, Odin was not amused by this. All his ravens came to him and say, "Thor is fighting the snake again. Loki must have messed up." So how can we fix this? We can fix this with a web of trust. Web of trust is a way of saying, I trust this person, and this person created a key, and I certify that that key belongs to that person. Something like, you sign keys. It's just a document. You go there, and I just say, this key belongs to Odin. I actually checked his ID and it's in front of me, right in front of me. So Odin does something. He goes to HEIMDALL, which in the Ragnarok is going to kill Loki, and is going also to die by Loki. They all kill each other. There's something about HEIMDALL. He's the all-seeing god. He can see everything. So Thor, who is very cunning and very deceiving, can actually deceive every god except HEIMDALL. So Odin asks HEIMDALL to sign his key. And this is what it looks like if you go to a key and just ask, can you list every signature? As you can probably see, there's HEIMDALL over there. So Odin writes a new message, this time with a signed key. And once again, Loki is going to deliver the message to Thor. Now, once again, he gets bored. He checks the message, he checks the key, and he checks that it was signed by HEIMDALL. Now, even if Loki can actually create the key and ask every god to sign his key, although his key has more signatures, Thor knows that the one with the HEIMDALL is the right one. So, at this point, Loki has no other choice than to actually deliver the message. So, Thor finally gets the runes of knowledge. No snake this time. Where can we find GPG in the wild? The most common use case is for emails. Emails is such an old technology that it's really easy to fake another person's email. There's quite a few people working on that. Git commits, or Git tags, is becoming really, really popular. Package managers, which is something that every serious package manager does, except NPM. And chats, encrypted backups. I want to focus on Git commits. Okay, most of you probably wrote a commit by now. Most of you have configured the commit Git for the first time when you wrote your name and your email. What happens if you write another person's email or another person's name? Every commit gets committed under that person's name. Quite simple. For those who have never made a commit, this is what it looks like. The name, the date, email, title, body. Well, actually, I have a full repository made with all these characters just signing commits to each other and killing each other. It's really easy to fake commits. This, on the other hand, is a signed commit. Still the same, author, date, title, body, but there is a signature now. And the signature certifies that the Git commit was made with that key. So what do you gain from this? You gain guarantees. Here's the thing. How many of you work in a really big company, say 200 employees? Do you trust every one of them? Do you know if there is a locky over there?
Certainly.
Oh, as you can see. I'm just I'm just playing around, but the thing is, I'd like to suggest two ideas that we should probably start doing. Signed commits, that's the first one. Only make a release if every commit was signed. You can see that if you use GitHub, you can see the little green badge over there if the commit was signed. If it was signed with a different key, it's going to be gray. If it's not signed at all, it doesn't exist. But you can also use your CI system to personally verify that, okay, every commit was signed by a developer of my team. The second idea is kind of more esoteric, which is you only make a release if it was signed by a developer, by a QA, by a delivery manager, and by product owner, who cares? If you go with this idea, you are certifying that your release went through all the proper stages to assure quality of it. That the developers wrote the code, that the QA actually tested the code and is saying, I did test the code. The delivery manager said, I approve this code. So if you think this idea is quite weird, which it is, it's currently being deployed by a project called the Upgrade Framework, and is being used by car manufacturers to deploy upgrades over the air, for example. Now you think, you have little green badges on your GitHub. That's great. What if my GitHub gets hacked? Well, I only have one solution for you. You should have used two-factor authentication. Really. Okay. Questions? Yes?
You're talking about signing commits, but I don't know if my commit is signed or not. Is that something that's automatically done, or is that something you have to actively do?
You have to actively set up the configuration for the first time. After that, every time you're going to sign a commit, you probably just have to write a password, or you can actually cache the password and don't have to do it over again for half an hour or a day, or even a month if you really want to.
And is that like a GitHub thing, or is that like when you're trying to get?
It's a two-step process. Okay, the full process is a two-step process. You create a GPG key on your computer, and you configure Git to always sign your commits. It's actually on Git, it's just 3 lines of code on the configuration. Then you go to GitHub and you upload your public key to your configuration. If you search on Google for GitHub GPG key, the first result is going to be literally how to create a key, how to set up everything. That's how I did it for this. But it's mostly 2 steps, and once it's configured, you won't have to think about it anymore. Yes.
What if we use Bitbucket?
Huh?
What if we use Bitbucket?
I'll be honest. I try to stay away. I try to stay away from deletion products.
Well, you're screwed. If you use the cloud version, they don't have that feature. If you use the version that hosts yourself, they do.
All
I'm
right.
kind of simple.
But they still store the same data, it's just not visible to the bucket.
Sorry?
They should store this within the Git repo, like with the commits signing off. I don't know,
No.
maybe like
You don't store any key on your Git repo at all.
not the key, the sign commits, like the commits sign.
They are just regular commits. They just have one extra header. You won't even notice. You just do your regular process. You just do git commit, git push, git, off it goes. But every time you're going to see the details for that commit, the header will be there and displayed. No more questions? That's cool. All right, go for it.
You mentioned that you have the repo that has like all these test
Yeah.
commits with all the how can we access that? I quite like to look at it.
Okay, right now the repository is private, and that's because I noticed that I messed up all my Git alias, and then wait a minute, and I have Git commits by THOR, which were signed by Hodin. So I pretty much messed all the commits. I can show you if you want. Just come here. Come talk to me. It's fine. I'll show you.
I'm a little bit confused on this type of stuff.
Go for it.
So if you had one user which had their commit signed,
Yeah.
and he had someone else who decided they wanted to be an alias of it,
Yeah.
would that just would it just stop them from committing, or would you see in the commit log sometimes that person's name would be verified and sometimes it wouldn't? How would you actually see that this was happening?
Okay.
Does that make sense? I don't know if
I'm not quite sure, but let's see if I can answer.
With this.
To have a profile.
Huh?
Well, because it's all point, from what I gather, is you don't want people to try and act on the behalf of you.
Exactly.
So, is it on the interface? Are you still able to commit under their email, just that you won't have
Exactly.
a signature?
If
So
you-
usually on GitHub or on Git, I suppose, with a landline, if you were really looking, you could tell that someone was doing it.
Exactly. That's the thing.
So it's still not it's not like it's stopping them from committing.
You won't stop anyone from committing under your name. That's for sure.
Right.
The only difference is that now you know when someone is doing it, because either they have uploaded a GPG key for GitHub, but it doesn't match your email, so it will be green. It will be gray, or either you did it and you'll have a green badge. If they are signing commits under your name, but they haven't checked any GPG signature at all, there won't be anything there, and you'll notice on UI that there's nothing there.
So you have to know that person normally signs their commits.
You don't have to know the person, but when you check for your Git commits on your project, you'll definitely know there's something out there, because you're going to see green, green, nothing, nothing, green, green, green. That's mostly the time.
There's also a thing in GitHub where you can actually prevent merging pull requests where there are commits that are missing signature.
Yes, I believe it's possible too.
So if you got into that state, would you have to be that thing you're not supposed to rebase it to fill back in the commits with the signature?
Sorry.
Would you get in a state where you can't merge anymore because there's some commits that you don't have it?
Yeah, you'll notice for
That's
that.
a lot of headache.
You'll just have to rebase the branch and take those commits out.
So it might be some developers maybe just joined, not set up with the new G keys or something. They've done a lot of work and you're I can't merge.
It's not really a problem, because for example, if you just want some people of your team to not be able to merge, and okay, they can't sign their commits, for example, you as their lead or as the person responsible, you can just go to the branch, rebase every commit, and all of them will be signed by you now. And this is the thing. They are the committers, you are the one who signed it. So what we are saying here is that you approve their commits. Do you see the responsibility here? That's why there's a cool idea of having the QA sign a release. The QA is saying, I approve this. Okay. Go for it.
I'm not sure what to do when cherry picking someone else's commit. do I sign it? Because then the signature will be different. Or do I get them to cherry pick it for me?
If you cherry pick, you're going to be the author of, you're going to be the owner of that commit, even if there is no signature there. I mean, actually no. Yes, it's going to be a signature, but with their name. They are the committers, which is fine. Also, the thing is, you need to realize what are your process on your team and what you want to do, but which level of security you want. I can do. It's fine if the name of the commit and the signature doesn't match, but the signature still belongs to someone from my team. This is some assurance for a release, for example. It's fine. Now, if you just want to figure out if someone is messing up with your commits, then probably you have a flaw there. But but because it was signed by a developer of your team, you know exactly who did it, who cherry picked it. Go for it.
Would you say that GPG keys are realistically the only source of truth when it comes to commit
Sorry.
to general git connects?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Would you say that GPG keys are the only real source of truth to work out who is pushing things or what they're actually doing? And then again, like you said, with QA, who's signing it?
Git itself is each commit is linked to the parent commit. If you change a commit mid-3, all the ones from after that will have a different hash. So there's a way of knowing if someone is messing, but that's only a way of knowing if someone messed with past commits, not if someone actually is making commits over you. Under the problem of someone making commits after you, right now signatures are the only way that I know of. All right, I guess that's it. Thank you for coming.